All right, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jess Weber, and this is the Spiritual Warfare. Tonight's episode is all about what's trending, and there is a lot of things trending, and it's getting interesting. I don't know. I just wanted to relax tonight. I don't want to get. There's so much stuff going on, but not as far as news wise, but a lot of other stuff is going on that comes to my attention. I do have some news that will be interesting. I'll let you know at the end of the show about that. I reached out to somebody that a lot of you guys been talking about, been actually trying to figure out who he is. That's a clue. And we send him a whole bunch of questions. He doesn't do live interviews for some reason. And hopefully he'll get back to us with all the questions answered. And that'll be interesting, because it needs to be answered, because he's doing a lot of bold claims, and it's I don't know how he's getting away with it, but I'll let you know his name at the end of the show. If you haven't done so, please go to webersway.com/shop, check out our store, and make sure you support us there. We appreciate everybody that goes to our store and supports Spiritual Warfare and webersway.com to keep us live almost every night, right? All right, here we go. This is what is trending in America on a Saturday in my Instagram feed. Ready? Are you ready? All right. We'll go right to it, to a complete libtard transgender that completely had surgery. This person had surgery to look like a female, still making stupid videos that where people misgender her or him, whatever the thing is. It's this person's still bizarre.
Farm is from
Is at Disney World.
Thailand?
Coconut bread from Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Ma'am.
Yes, and the middle one is from India. It's the papadom, the gingerbread chutney.
Okay.
And the third is from Brazil. It's a cheese bread with the guava sauce.
Thank you. Just like totally sucks the joy out of this bread tower. Makes me want to immediately leave.
Yeah, but if you're talking to someone like that, and you just, that deep voice is just a trigger in the human body of like, yes, sir. I mean, your voice does not sound like a female voice whatsoever.
I no longer feel safe here. It's like, oh, my guard now has to be up. I'm not
Does that sound like a woman?
gonna enjoy this bread as much because my guard is up. We should be.
And this is another clear sign that these people are deranged in Disneyland or Disney World or wherever he is. It's very bizarre. To me, it's bizarre to be, go. I would never go to Disney World by myself. I would never go to Disneyland by myself. I wouldn't even go to an amusement park by myself. Why would I do that? Huh? Unless I'm a weirdo, unless I'm a predator. This person's clearly seems like one. I mean, why? I don't understand. Or this is how they make their money, by going to restaurants and say, hey, can you call me a sir so I can show my audience that it happens in real life? And sure enough, guess what? They comp that meal because they misgender him.
Be able to go places and not have to worry. I don't think I really want this bread tower, actually. I think I'd rather have the check, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the training. We're supposed to say friend or just not use gendered language. It's like a pretty big thing that Disney has done. Nothing was wrong with bread. I just don't want it anymore. Just because they apologize doesn't mean she doesn't feel sad or offended. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, if you've accidentally ever hurt someone and say, I'm so sorry, it was an accident, do you expect them to be like, oh, it was an accident? Of course, no problem whatsoever. All of that hurt is now undone. That's not how it works.
Sorry about what happened.
It's okay. I'd love to pay for the drink, please.
No, the drink is on me too. So
You don't. Are you sure?
you're good. Yeah.
Thank you
Sorry
very
about
much.
that.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know. These people just, I understand that they're suffering somehow. And this is the problem. And I was thinking about it today, and I was like, when you watch those predator videos where they catch the predator, the pedophile, and they go to the house and someone busts them, whatever. But I saw one where the guy was like, yeah, some of these kids need to experiment. It's because they experimented. Am I bleeding? I'm bleeding here. They had to experiment with an adult. So they were molested by an adult, right? And they think that's the way it is. That's the process. So they figure they're trying to help other people to do the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like a whole cycle. This is why it has to stop now. But these people will continue on. And I'm bleeding. Somehow I'm bleeding. Did I get that from the microphone? How did that happen here? As I bleed. Anyways, show must go on, right? So the thing is that the people that abuse kids, and then they grow up, they think that is normal, and then they're gay, and then they do it to children too, because that's the way they were brought up. So the cycle, this is why it's so important. That's why we're such advocates against this crap. This is why it needs to stop in school. It needs to literally be abolished from college. And it just needs to just go away. You know, if it just needs to stop talking about it. It always needs to go back into the closet. You know, if you're gay, stay in the closet. There's no point of talking about it, showing your flag, showing how sinful you are to the world. It's not a good thing. I really just, because you're just inviting more people to that cause that are lost, or you guys are just, you know, predators. Anyways, let's just move on. Sometimes it just piss me off. You know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. All right, let's continue on. Obviously, this is I don't know if you guys seen the tape of the judge releasing the, well, we call him illegal alien, of course, and trying to distract the ICE people to go to a different direction. Go like, come over here. Why don't you go talk to the other judge over here? And then they try to escape the illegal and the lawyer out the door. But luckily, there was an ICE agent undercover watching in the hallways.
He meets his attorney in the hallway and walks towards Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan's courtroom. Along the way, he passes plainclothes federal agents who are sitting on a bench. They are there to detain him. After Flores Ruiz walks by, the agents turn to each other and appear to confirm his identity amongst themselves. But a few moments later, Judge Dugan and another judge approach the agents sitting on the bench. A criminal complaint against Dugan later said she was alerted to their presence by a court official. That complaint says during this interaction, Dugan and the agents disagreed over the type of warrant they had to arrest Flores Ruiz. According to the complaint, Dugan ordered the agents to go to the chief judge's office. Video shows her pointing them through a double door. She then turns back to speak with other agents further down the hall and orders them through the doors as well. Shortly after that, with the agents gone from the hallway, Eduardo Flores Ruiz and his attorney exit into the hallway through a different door. As they walk down the hall toward the elevators, they pass another plainclothes federal agent. Neither they nor Judge Dugan seem to have noticed at the time. That agent motions to another to follow Flores Ruiz. Security video shows Flores Ruiz exiting through a basement exit. Upstairs on the 6th floor, the other agents have left the chief judge's office and worked their way downstairs. Flores Ruiz left the building onto 9th Street. Videos of the street shows the agents catching up to him. Flores Ruiz runs across 10th Street while trying to get away, but the agents catch him and arrest him. He meets his
Unbelievable. Activist judges, that's what they are. And they do not need to be judges. They should definitely be, step down. Now she's in cuffs. Now she went to jail. Now she's got a trial. Good luck there. You know what I'm saying? Here's a crazy liberal all angry because you own a Cybertruck. That's right. They still exist and they're still at it.
What's wrong with you?
You know you're driving the fucking car of a fucking Nazi.
Dude.
The guy gave 3 fucking Heil Hitler salutes.
What is wrong with this man?
He's a fucking Nazi.
So what do you want me to do about
Sell
it?
your fucking car.
Are you serious?
Yeah, sell your fucking car.
What is wrong
Get
with
the
you?
fuck out of here.
Don't.
You're driving the car of a fucking Nazi.
You're
the
going-
guy is a fucking Nazi.
You're going to go to jail.
Fuck you.
You're gonna go to jail.
I'm not doing anything
You're
except
gonna go-
cussing at you.
Okay.
I'm
Touch
glad
me.
you're filming me.
Touch me, and you will go to
I'm not
jail.
gonna do anything violent.
Touch. It doesn't matter.
You're just a fucking asshole because
No.
you bought the car of a fucking Nazi. The guy's a fucking Nazi. Now fucking leave.
Yeah, seriously.
So you sell the car to someone else and then you're going to go harass them, right? Is that what the whole cycle is?
What's wrong?
These people are deranged. Yeah, it's It's unbelievable that they actually exist and actually live on this earth. You know what I mean? It's unreal.
This is
Oh, here's the killer from the other day that killed the 2 Jews in D.C. Let's see what this one's all about.
suspected terrorist accused of fatally shooting 2 Israeli embassy staffers outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., has ties to a radical left-wing group that spearheaded Black Lives Matter protests and openly supports the Palestinian cause. Elias Rodriguez, 31, allegedly confessed to the murder and was heard chanting "Free, Free Palestine" as he fired his weapon into the victims late Wednesday night. Investigators are now digging into his background to understand the motivation behind the deadly attack. Rodriguez had previously been associated with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, a far-left organization known for pushing anti-Israel rhetoric. On Wednesday, just hours before the shooting, the group posted online, "End the genocide. Israel out of Gaza now." While the PSL confirmed Rodriguez had been affiliated with a local branch, they claim his association ended in 2017 and stressed they have had no contact with him since. "We have nothing to do with this shooting and do not support it," the group stated on X early Thursday. Rodriguez had been previously profiled in a now deleted article from the group's website, which described his involvement in a 2017 Black Lives Matter protest outside the home of then Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel. The protest marked the anniversary of Laquan McDonald's death, a 17-year-old Black teen killed by a Chicago police officer. In that protest, Rodriguez targeted Amazon, calling out the company for contributing to structural racism and the gentrification of urban cities. Rodriguez's LinkedIn profile indicates he worked as an oral history researcher at the History Makers, a nonprofit dedicated to documenting African American history. His profile, since removed, noted that he held a bachelor's degree in English from the University of Illinois at Chicago and had a background in writing for tech companies. Early Thursday, Rodriguez was being questioned by the FBI and Metropolitan Police as investigators pieced.
There you go. Loser. Just threw his whole life away over being indoctrinated. This is the disease of the woke virus that needs to be eradicated out of America. It's in every school, every college. It's in businesses. It's in everything. The black people are trying to push an agenda. The Black Lives Matter, that whole thing. You know, you join, you think you're joining a good cause, and then they indoctrinate you. They make you feel less than. You make sure you give $1 to the black person. You know, he becomes brainwashed. He's not black. I don't know what he is, but he's brown. I would have to say, I don't know, brown or white, whatever. But he throws his whole life away, puts 22 bullets in these people's heads. You know, I mean, it's just like, what a waste. This is what you're going to do? You get a chant, Free Palestine? Israel, get out of Palestine? I mean, come on. Losers. It's unbelievable how you just would actually just throw your life away over a cause that just is just pure chaos. You know, the whole left is just unbelievable, just a mess. I don't know why anybody wants to be a part of it. Anytime you see these videos of these leftists, they're just out of control. They have no sanity. They have no religion. They have no morals. And they're not sane. Charles in the house. Charles, did you ever get your shirt? Let me know. I'm so glad that Trump called out the killing of the white farmers in Africa. I really am.
Showed a video that he said showed more than 1,000 burial sites of white South Africans that he said were murdered. We know that that was not true and that the video wasn't showing that. So I wonder, why did the president choose to show that? What's not true, Yamiche? It's not true that the video was showing a burial site. It is unsubstantiated that that's the case.
No, it is true that that video showed the crosses that represent
what the president claimed.
The video showed images of crosses in South Africa about white farmers who have been killed and politically persecuted because of the color of their skin. And those crosses are representing their lives. Those crosses are representing their lives in the fact that they are now dead and their government did nothing about it. Are you disputing that there's no...
The the video showed what the president claimed it showed, because it did not show that. But even more, what I'm asking you is who at the
No, it
White
did
House
show that. It
who
showed
at the-
white crosses representing people who have perished because of racial persecution.
verify the videos that the president shows, and what protocols are in place when there's unsubstantiated information being put out for the world and world leaders to
Yamiche,
show?
what's unsubstantiated about the video? The video shows crosses that represent the dead bodies of people who were racially persecuted by their government. In fact, the Associated Press, of all places, has a picture of that very monument. So it is
burial
substantiated,
site, but it's
not just by that video, but also by another outlet in this room, the Associated Press. So you should take it up with them if you believe the claim is unsubstantiated.
See how mainstream tries to do that? They put out a statement because that's the whole point of the question. They don't give a shit about her answer. They want to put out a statement so it gets out to the mass, so she can use that as a clip. Clip that. Look at that. Oh, reporter said that. Oh, this is not a burial site. This is since we know the video is fake and fraudulent, and we all know that President Trump was lying about the burial site. My question is how can you get away with putting out these fake videos? Blah blah blah. That's the point of her question, is stating that she does not care about the answer. Does not care. Because what they do is air her saying that, clip edit Caroline's response. You see what I'm saying? They'll edit it to where like she won. She got them, she's right. And then the mainstream idiot that watches it is like, oh, Trump was a liar. That wasn't even a burial site, Carol. Carol, I know. Trump's a liar. Orange man bad. Orange man bad in the house, right? That's how they do it. It's just a whole technique that the left mainstream does. That's why they do it. But I'm glad that Caroline just kept snapping back at her, repeating that she was wrong. She was wrong. So that was good. So hopefully, she does more of that, obviously, right? Charles, yes, a neighbor brought it to me. It was put in the wrong mailbox. Good. We are 100% success right here at Spiritual Warfare in our clothing brand. Did you try it on, Charles? Does it fit? That's what I want to know. Charles got one of our Armor of God long sleeve shirts. Fitted, actually. Charles, are you a fit guy? You better be a fit guy for that shirt. That's a fitted shirt. All right, moving on. Medical Medium's getting, I don't know if you guys know who Medical Medium is. He's a, health guru. He does a lot of weird stuff, but I got into him because of the celery juice. I take celery juice every other day now. I used to do it every day. Now I do it every other day because I have Crohn's disease. Instead of taking medication, I drink celery juice every morning. And I was doing it for probably since 2019. I've been drinking celery juice every morning until the past few months. I stopped and started doing it every other morning. And why I'm doing that is because I think it's time, the celery juice gets a lot, you know what I mean? It starts to get too expensive. You're juicing every morning. It gets a little, but I wanted to try it. So I'm doing okay. So there we go. Every other day now. Rocco Ways Rizzo. Exactly. Thank you. Trump brought me the receipts. Yes. Thanks. Okay, Charles. Okay. Here's Medical Medium now talking about chemtrails. Chemtrails is, we want to incorporate chemtrails in almost every one of our podcasts because it needs to be talked about. It needs to be more, it needs to be banned in every state. I know there's a few states that actually ban the spraying in the skies. And I just think we just need to keep bringing awareness to it because spraying these chemicals in the sky is not normal. Okay. Yes, the plane will have an exhaust, but it's supposed to it disappears. Okay. It doesn't leave a long strand and then start stretching to block the sun out. Okay. That's not normal. All right. So hopefully, and then we're discovering, if you watch this video, this is kind of interesting. These people that are doing this is a whole entity. This is separate from the government. This is separate money. This is separate airports. These are separate planes. This is insane. Here we go.
Chemtrails in the air all the time. We breathe them in every single day we step outside. They seep in during the night and during the daytime in our own homes. Dangerous toxic chemicals have been dumped on everybody since the 1960s. Planes filled up with tanks inside of them. No passengers on there. just a couple of pilots, and dangerous and deadly toxic chemicals, toxic waste being released out of these jet planes into the atmosphere, dumped on us day in and day out. And these chemicals are cocktails, highly toxic cocktails. Mercury, lead, aluminum, copper, petroleum byproducts, acids, barium, solvents, herbicides, mosquito killers, thousands of different kinds of byproducts from worldwide industrial chemical industries. Chemicals from old storage bins from World War I, World War II, Agent Orange, DDT. They don't care who breathes in what. They don't care what's dumped on everybody's food, the gardens, the farm fields. And they don't care about little children with asthmatic conditions. And they don't care about the chronically ill. They don't care about people with different kinds of symptoms and conditions that are hypersensitive. What they care about, the evildoers, the people that run this planet, way above public authorities, what they do care about is if you know it's a chemtrail, is that you know the truth, that they're dumping stuff on you. They don't want the chemtrails to stop, the classified programs to stop. They want to keep on dumping what they want onto people. And they want everybody to believe the ultimate con.
You know, I was thinking while watching that, you know, as they keep spraying these chemicals in our air, you know, you wonder, like, don't they have family that they're spraying it on? Or some say that maybe they're not human that are spraying this. Maybe it's the alien race that's out here on Earth. Maybe they need the chemicals. Maybe they need it. Maybe they need the air to be so polluted, or the sun needs to be blocked so they can survive, these aliens, right? Maybe that's a possible theory. Another theory is, well, I don't know if you're ready for this one, but another theory with the chemicals, these chemtrails, is that maybe if they were to stop, maybe everybody would start becoming healthy. And maybe that's why they pour it on us, to keep us all sick, so we're dependent on big pharma. If they completely stop, maybe the human race would discover something about being healthy. Like, hey, I don't have any cavities, or I don't have any diseases, or my asthma, I don't have any asthma, or autism, I don't have ADHD, or whatever. You wonder, if you start eliminating certain things, would this world become way more healthier? And I think that's what they don't want. We need to figure out if big pharma somehow funds chemtrails, or I mean, I think that would be the only thing that we try to go down the route of. How could we figure that out? Is if big pharma is funding this kind of stuff to keep everybody sick. But then again, they're on Earth too. They're breathing it in too. You know, the poison's going on the farm goes to the store, and the store goes to you. So it's almost maybe it's not for us. Maybe it's for them. Maybe. Let's think about this, folks. If I was up there spraying chemicals as a regular, you know, pilot, right? And they're paying me a crap ton of money. Hey, we need to spray all over California, right? My family lives in California, let's just say. I'm spraying. I must not have a soul, right? That's what it comes down to. I don't have a soul at all. I don't care about my family getting poisoned with this crap. It's going to take them 40, 50 years by the time they get their cancer or their disease or their asthma or whatever. Don't worry, Big Pharma will give them a pill and keep them living a little longer. Maybe a little miserable, but they'll still be alive. They almost have to have no soul. They almost have to be non-human. And you wonder, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's Satan. Maybe. Because I think Satan is pretty evil. And he would come up with something very satanic like this. This is why we don't like the devil. So, conclusion, I would have to say that the pilots are non-human, no soul, and it's a satanic agenda to keep the world population sick. Keep depopulating. Just another method to keep that population low. Get them dead early. Get them sick. But then again, a lot of people that are sick find Jesus. You know what I mean? So it's a catch-22 here. What is it? What is the real reason for the chemtrails? You got to keep thinking about it. But anyways, I think if anything, we have to get rid of them. So we'll just keep raising awareness, somehow tell your local government, hey, let's stop the spraying here in this state. Because it's just not good. Especially this Maha movement. The love of money is the root of all evil. That's true, Charles. That's true. But here's Trump talking about Big Pharma, how they own your politicians. He says it.
Decided I've got to break the system. And it's the most powerful lobby in the world, the drug company. Most powerful, they are the most powerful. And I'm not saying bad, good. I'm not saying anything, but they have tremendous power over the Senate, over the House, over the governors, over everybody. And they spend more money, billions and billions of dollars. And I said, I don't care. I got to do I have to do what's right. And I decided I've got to break the system. And it's the most powerful lobby in the world.
Well, he's breaking the system. Good or bad, he's got to do it, right? Here's something that'll make your blood boil. What Biden did before Trump took office, he literally handed out $93 billion of your taxpayer money to businesses that didn't even have a plan. Shit, Charles, we should have applied during the Biden administration. We should have said we were an LGBT clothing line. For God. That's what we should have said. We probably would have had a huge grant. Would have paid for everything. The factory, everything. We would have had stock. We wouldn't even have to pay it back. Oh, we missed a huge opportunity, Chuck. Anyways, $93 billion out the door.
The 76-day period you're talking about, that's the period between the time that President Trump was elected and President Biden left office. Is that right?
That is correct.
And during that short period of time, 76 days, how much taxpayer money went out the door of the Department of Energy?
From the Loan Program Office in loans and commitments, $93 billion. Well over twice as much as in the previous 15 years. So
how do you vet and do due diligence on a loan in 76 days? One loan, much less $93 billion. How do you do it?
I think it's probably pretty clear it wasn't done in many cases. As I mentioned, I'm told I'm holding back clearly in place stuff. There is lots of funds that have gone out the door and commitments that were made from businesses that provided no business plan, no numbers about their own financial solvency or how this project
So
can
you're
actually
telling
work.
me that the Department of Energy in the 76-day period before their boss was going to leave office gave or loaned money to entities that had no business plan?
Correct.
No financials?
Correct. A number of those were were before the 76-day period as well. I've come in with great concern about how this institution, this great American institution, has been run and how American taxpayer money has been handled. I'm sorry everyone's upset that we're taking some time to do it, but what we've seen and what the record shows
I'm
is
not
just
upset. Could it be that a lot of people say you haven't returned your calls? Could it be that you and your colleagues have returned the calls, but the people calling just didn't like the answer? Could that be a possibility?
I'm not aware of that. You know, I give my cell phone number to any senator that wants it, and I return my calls.
I mean, has your department gone dark? Somebody said your department's gone dark. Is it dark over there?
It doesn't look dark behind me.
I don't see any of you sitting on your hands. Somebody made that charge. I see everybody's hands. Let me ask you something else, Mr. Secretary. Does anybody ever come to the Department of Energy to get some of this free money and lie to you?
I have not experienced that, but I think it's a reasonable assumption that that has happened.
Does anybody ever come to you? Or is it conceivable that some of these folks that heard about this free money came to you with a half-baked idea?
I think it's very conceivable. In fact, I've seen such plans that were
You've seen
half-baked would be
plans
charitable.
that didn't have a business plan, right?
Correct. A promise to develop one, to find a location.
Just give me the money and I'll develop the plan later.
Correct.
And now you're going back through, not money that's already been contracted, but you're going back through and checking each one of these loans and these grants to make sure there was no stealing, aren't you?
We are.
And you make sure there was no incompetence, aren't you? Is that correct?
We're looking at that, and yeah, my blood pressure is rising right now just thinking about what we have seen and what did happen at the department.
And you're going to tell some of these boondoggles no, aren't you?
That's correct.
And they're going to be upset, aren't they?
That's correct.
And they ought to be upset, shouldn't they?
I don't think they should be upset. I think they should be ashamed.
It's rare that I'm speechless. But I want to be sure I understood. The people running the Department of Energy for President Biden's administration shoveled $93 billion, not million, $93 billion out the door in 76 days. And it just happened to be the time between when President Trump was elected and President Biden, their boss, was leaving. Is that right?
It is correct and distasteful. Confidence undermining.
My God.
This is insane. Think about it. We have to pay taxes, right? We pay taxes, and this is the kind of crap that goes on in the Biden administration. And I'm sure it's been going on for years and years and decades. And this stuff has got to stop. It's just got to stop, and it just makes your blood boil, right? But who will get arrested for this? Who's going to go to jail for this? You know, obviously they have payments ready to go out for these people, or I guess it already went out. They have that connection. Maybe they should follow up. I mean, if they took this money, a crazy amount of money, and they have no business plan, or they're not doing anything, I think they should be arrested. But will anybody be accountable? I don't know. We haven't seen any arrest yet. None. And we're looking at the Diddy case, and that thing, he looks like he might get off. It's just getting unbelievable. I don't know. You remember George Santos, this crazy guy? I don't know, with the lip filler and the filler in the face. This guy that used to be a congressperson or a senator, or whatever the two. Anyways, he got kicked out. I guess he's supposed to be going to jail for 11 years. Anyways, he just said some crazy stuff on one of his videos. Watch this.
So, members of Congress that should be indicted but never probably will be. Ilhan Omar, immigration fraud. She married her brother to become a resident. Yeah, true. Nobody's talking about that. Rep. Senator from Michigan. Well, animal cruelty, identity theft, all sorts of different freaking issues that he's done with his shady past. Nothing's going to happen about that either, I believe. Has anyone found AOC's missing $1 million from her campaign? I'm waiting, asking for a few friends. Oh, and let's not forget, there's a good old Adam Schiff. He's never going to see justice. Indictment for him? Never. Oh, what about the inside traders? Like all the allegations around Pelosi, Dan Crenshaw, Nicole Malliotakis. What about them? Are they ever going to be indicted and investigated? Just curious. Oh, and then there's all the sex scandals, right? I mean, I can name them, but those are so long. But pretty much about half of Congress. Anything about that? Oh, and then there's Jasmine Crockett's grandma receiving Social Security payments for 11 years after she passed. It's just... Well, anyway, I just figured I'd share a few thoughts, and those are thoughts in my mind. I think it's time we start really putting metal to the pedal, because why not?
You know, why didn't you say that when you were in office? You know what I mean? Be a little more credible. Anyways, I think he's going to jail or he's in jail. One of the two. But will they get arrested? You never know, right? Here's ICE is out and collecting illegals like they should, right? Here's ICE in Atlanta arrested a Venezuela fugitive, illegal, wanted for murder in his home country. Definitely gay.
ID on it? Sí, ahí está mi cartera. ¿Yo quiero que get it? Yeah. Can I?
There you go. Another illegal out of there, huh? How about that? This is insane that these people came to America, criminals, getting arrested and getting sent back. I think Venezuela should be responsible, or who's in charge over there, right? Why doesn't Trump do something about that? If he knows that he purposely, Trump always talked about how they released everyone out of jail, right? And to come to America. If that's true, who did that? Who made that statement? Who said, hey, all right, everyone out of jail, send them to America? F America. It's wide open. Huh? Get them over there. If someone did that in Venezuela, that person they should have sanctions all over that country and paying us to get rid of these people in our country and bringing them back to their country. Unbelievable. It's just unreal. Here's another one. This picture for some reason is going viral. I don't know why, but he's another one. God. I don't know if everybody's looking at something there. Anyways, there you go. Another one, right? There we go. All right, moving on. Here's a protest. Christians were worshiping gathering hosted on May Day USA at Seattle's California Anderson Park. Seattle's CAL Anderson Park celebrates police separate far left activists and militants from attempting to shut down the event. Trans Antifa leftists attempted to harass Christians. You know, back in the day when me and Berto used to do these protests, these are the same characters. But you know what? Alberto, if you're listening, I mean, these people are getting more wilder. They look crazier. You know what I mean? BLM was out there. Remember BLM? Oh my gosh. They were the same characters, came out trying to start trouble. But, you know, these people, they're getting more colorful. They're more colored hair, more trans in these groups. They just hate Christians. They just hate people with morals. They hate people with religion. That's what it is. Look at these people. Look at this. They're all mentally ill. Look at this person. She's sad. Poor girl. Probably molested by her uncle or her father. Who knows? Oh, another one's confused. You know what I mean? It's just sad. You know? These people just need help. And there's no cure. That's the problem. You know, they just couldn't get past the molestation or the chemicals or the vaccine. Something turned them to this craziness. And I think most of them were groomed. You know, I was talking to a guy the other day, and he says that it's genetics. I'm like, hey, get out of here. That's not genetics. Really? I said, yeah, I have Crohn's. So where's the genetics there, huh? Huh? Where's that? Who am I? I have no one in my family that has it. So where's the genetics, right? Oh, someone far back in the day, 40, 60 years, 100 years ago. I'm like, okay, sure. Right. If you, I don't buy it. If you trans, all right, you stop your heritage there. So it doesn't make any sense. They're grooming these people. They straight people are grooming them, or groomers are grooming. This is so bizarre. Look at these people. They're just lost. Shaved heads, every single color of the rainbow. And they love the rainbow. Of course they do. Some of these people look normal, but they just defend it. I don't know. Anyways, the protests continue on during the Trump administration. I feel glad I don't have to go to those protests anymore. It just feels better. I don't know. It just does. Anyway, here's Dr. Stephen Greer talking about the moon landing. This is interesting.
You mentioned the moon landing. Did we land on the moon? Because there's some people who think we didn't.
Well, we did. We just weren't told what happened. When we landed on the moon, these covert programs knew it was likely that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and these guys might see something. And so they had some alternative film already pre-prepared and shot. Fake. Buzz Aldrin's sister has told me very directly that everything I've shared just now is true, but that it's not her job to out him. And of course, Neil Armstrong, through a friend of his, told us the same story, but he didn't want to come forward. When I invited him to these briefings for members of Congress back in '97, he said, it's been made clear to him, Neil Armstrong was told, we will kill you, your wife, your children, and your grandchildren if you ever speak of that.
Well, Buzz did talk about how they never went to the moon, if you've seen those videos. But not Neil Armstrong. I don't think there was any videos of him. Anyways, remember the shooting on the film Rust with Alec Baldwin? Well, the armors lady is freed from prison after the deadly shooting. How about that, huh? That wasn't too long. She didn't go to jail that long, huh, Chuck? For having real bullets on set like an idiot? Someone got away with the murder right there. Why'd they kill that person? I think the person that died was trying to make a documentary about sex trafficking. It's kind of strange. Very strange. It's always someone trying to make a kid's film, trying to save the kids, and they just don't like that hashtag. That's right. They don't like that. The algorithm hates that word, save the children. Here's a video that's hilarious to a lot of people. Here we go. Let's watch this one. George Floyd died for each and every one last of us. Yeah, right.
Rough ride. When I came here today, I almost had an emotional breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
Because it reminded me the day that George Floyd got killed. Where they get you to lay the flowers at. And the red represent the blood. And the white represent the purification that George Floyd died for us. Each and every last one of us. Had no George Floyd died, we wouldn't be here. God chose him. He was a chosen vessel. Men are called, but few are chosen.
He was God's vessel. Now, don't get me wrong. God picked some people that should not be in the situation, but they, God chose them for a reason, and they do their thing. But George Floyd, the guy that overdosed on fentanyl and then got the cop got blamed on, come on. God would do that? You think God would do that? You think God said, oh, we got to make a revolution here? Jesus, what do you think, huh? You think we should pick George Floyd? He's already high on fentanyl. He's already going to die. We already got his tags, all right? The Green Reaper, you ready? Okay, Green Reaper's ready. All right, let's bring him up, huh? George Floyd's coming up. Let's get him. Let's start the revolution. Let's get the cop in there. Cop, get in. What is it? What do we got? Derek Chauvin. Good. Derek, get in there. Derek gets in there, puts his knee on George Floyd. Yeah, let's try to stall his brain for a reason. Let's put 8 minutes and 46 seconds, right? Yeah, the people will love this, right? This will start the revolution for the Black Lives Matter. And then sure enough, we know that they're going to burn every Democrat city down. This is going to be great. Really? You really think this was God's vessel? He picked George Floyd. Really? Really? I don't think so. I don't think so. They are so delusional. But hey, give it to you that you loved God. That's all we can say, right? I don't know, but here's a video. Here's a hot mic video of Brittany Griner, male basketball player on a women's team. You know, it's usually the worst male basketball player. Can't do NBA, so they do the WNBA. You know what I mean? And then they're the top player, right? Anyways, watch her say effing white girl to Caitlin Clark.
Tap fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
There you go. Hot mic.
Tap fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Effing white girl. Racist. Huh? And they say black people can't be racist. I don't know, but it seems like they are. All right, here we go. Charlie Kirk is up. We got 2 videos from Charlie Kirk. Here we go. This is interesting. Let's watch this one.
I went to Mexico without being invited or allowed, and I took a job, what would the Mexican government do to me?
Why was the reason you left the U.S. first?
The reason doesn't matter.
Let's say you're here in the U.S., okay? You have, from what I think I've heard, I think you have 2 daughters, correct? Daughter and a son. Let's say someone is attacking your family, like targeting you guys. You love your children, I'm assuming.
Well, hold on. I actually, someone, every day we get death threats, so this is not an abstraction, and I'm not leaving America. If you apply that logic, that if somebody is in danger, they're allowed to come to America, would you be okay welcoming in 500 million people into America?
500 million, I don't even think that would fit the United States.
I agree, and that's the point, is that if everyone all of a sudden declared that their life was in danger, we'd have to let in like all of Nicaragua, all of Honduras, almost all of Venezuela. The standard all of a sudden starts falling apart. And we find that people lie about this, they deceive it. Why don't we try to empower those people to make the countries they're coming from greater and stronger, else this problem will actually never be fixed at the root level.
Exactly, fix the other nations. That's why I'm okay with foreigners coming to America, learn, get some education, and go back. I'm okay with that because hopefully they go back and help their country. I'm okay with that. I don't know, you know, that's the only way. That's the whole point of that, is have foreigners come here to learn and then go back and bring their woke, their woke ideas to their country. That's what's going to happen. Oh man, we're destroying other countries. Here's another Charlie Kirk video. Here we go.
What is a woman?
A woman, you know it when you see it, you know? It's like, if I look, she looks like a woman. 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 It's the way you express yourself. So, like, all these, it's the way you express yourself.
So if you basically, womanhood is a costume.
I'm not saying that. No.
No, it is. Yeah. If you're able to wear the right stuff and just assume the identity, you can appropriate womanhood. Is that correct?
No.
So this is where you are playing into this narrative that gender exists. We reject that paradigm completely because gender has led us to this place that your own personal self-expression matters to your core identity. And again, that means nothing. Infinite personalities, no genders, 2 sexes. And we must live in reality, not in the delusions of the heads of people that want us to accommodate their fantasy. What is a woman?
There you go. Some of these people, I can't believe you would just like, it's the dumbest question. I'll give you that right there. That's just a dumb question. You know what I mean? That they keep pushing around because the left just won't answer it, you know, because they're defending the trans. They're defending people with mental illness. So bizarre to me. Anyways, so this is another video that we want to bring attention to because it's important. This guy over at Nature Jab, I wish I knew his name. Is it Devin or David? Anyways, he is, out in, I don't know where, I think Alabama or Georgia. And he literally turns plastic into diesel, plastic into gasoline. And he's been doing this for a while, and he's got a whole machine at home in a field, and it's being ran by solar power now. And it's just fascinating that someone like him came up with this idea, right? And I'm surprised he's, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm surprised he's still alive. I'm surprised they haven't killed him yet. It's a little early for that phase. But I really hope he doesn't stop. I really hope he continues on. But I feel like when I'm watching his videos, and it seems like, he's doing this tour of going to different towns and bringing diesel and doing like a first time Ford truck running on diesel, or a car running on the plastiline that he calls it. It's just a great thing that what he's doing, but I just think it needs to be on a mass scale. Right? I think he, as someone, or the government, or someone needs to get involved where it can help him get even bigger. His machine is so big. I think if it became a lot bigger, he could produce a lot more. And I just don't want this to go away. You know what I mean? I just want this to grow into an actual thing where you can go to the pump and actually say, oh, I'll get plastiline because it's cleaner fuel. His fuel is actually cleaner. He's taking it to the lab. He's got test results proving how it's clean. He put it in a diesel truck and another diesel truck next to it running regular diesel, and one was cleaner. You could see the smoke difference. One was black, one was white smoke or none. And it's just I think it's just something needs to happen. So we're just going to keep drawing attention to it every week. Once, as he got a new video or whatever, and hopefully we'll get him on. We've already reached out to him to see if we do a whole show, because it's important. I think you have 87, 89, 93 and plastiline. I mean, I think that should just be at every pump. It's plastic. He literally takes any plastic and turns it into fuel. He's just reversing what it was used to be, basically. Turns it into gasoline, and it's running on cars. It's just pure as day. I think the problem is that he can only make so much with his machine, like that little bit. I'm surprised why aren't you bringing a gallon? It must take a lot of effort to produce that much, but he's running it on solar now. So we'll just keep continuing watching that. If you want to follow him, it's Nature Jab on Instagram. And he also has, you can support him as well. So check that out. All right, moving on. I think we are pretty close to all the videos that we wanted to showcase tonight. Here's a Donald. No, I want to show a Tucker video. Here we go. This is interesting right here. And it's about the war in Ukraine. And it says, do Americans have any idea Zelensky has declared war on Christianity in Ukraine? Vadim Novetsky knows he spent 3 terms in Ukrainian parliament, but now risks prison for defending his church.
Thank you for joining us. I think very few Americans understand the degree to which the Ukrainian government under Zelensky has persecuted the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. Can you give us an overview of what your government has done to your church?
Unfortunately, our government, led by Zelensky, has opened up a campaign of persecution and depression against the Ukrainian Orthodox Church, the largest church in Ukraine, the largest denomination of Christians in Ukraine. Before the war, there were 12,000 parishes and 7 million believers in the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. And despite the fact that it's the largest denomination and that 95 to 97% voted for Zelensky as the president of peace, he is doing this to our church. He's persecuting and oppressing our church. Over the past 10 years, persecution has intensified. And currently, right now, it is leading to terrible consequences. As you know, in Parliament, a law has been passed which actually, in fact, bans the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. So our archbishops are subjected to persecution. There are completely false criminal cases opened up against them. Our parishioners beaten. Our church is taken away. So Satanism is flourishing in Ukraine.
Never thought that was happening. Yes, Charles, the nature guy, he actually has an address. You can send him any of your plastic. You can mail your plastic to Nature Job. Yes, any plastic. It can be dirty, it can have milk on it, whatever. He literally can do any plastic, dirty or clean. It's pretty good, interesting. All right, here's a couple more videos. This is interesting.
So what you see here now, of course, is just a subset of tasks that Neo can do. And this is a mix of autonomy for things the robot is good at, and some remote operation where someone's guiding the robot to basically do expert demonstrations on how to do these tasks. And as we have an increasing number of these robots throughout homes, living among us and learning, more and more of this becomes autonomous. Until hopefully one day, all of this will be fully autonomous. Neo actually has tendons that gets pulled very loosely inspired by human muscle. And this makes Neo into a robot that is quiet, soft, compliant, lightweight, safe, and really able to live among us and learn among us. There's never really been a time better for robots. We have an aging population in need of help, and we have a large labor shortage across most of the global economy. And there's much, much more. But even more importantly, to me, these robots, they promise something greater than just the ability to solve the problems of today. They can solve things that we cannot do today. They can give us back things like time. This is still, of course, incredibly early. We're all the way in the beginning of this journey. But I do hope that in not so long, just like we take energy for granted around us, we will be able to take labor around us for granted. And we might soon not even remember the day where there wasn't always like a helping hand available for anything we wanted to do. So,
well, looks like we're going to have robotic slaves soon. So how about that? Huh? Slavery is coming back, huh? That's what everyone's excited about. Huh? See, that's the thing. That's what's happening. I mean, if you think about it, everybody wants a personal assistant. Everybody needs a couple slaves to run around the house and to get things done so you can enjoy life. This is how slavery should have been started. Robots. Okay, not using other humans. I know that's, I don't know if that's all Old Testament or that's how they pay their dues or the whole slavery thing, whatever. Okay, this is how slavery should have started, having a robot in every house. 2 or 3, because I don't know how long these batteries last in these robots. If he only lasts 20 minutes, we're going to have another robot on taking over after he left off. So it's got to be all in sync. You know what I mean? Be interesting. I would want one. What would I have my robot do? Probably all my lawn work. I'd probably have him do, I don't know. Chuck, what do you think? I'd probably have my robot replace Chuck. That's for sure. Chuck doesn't do much. He just switches buttons around and tries to make me look like an idiot on different camera angles. Chuck, what are you doing? Come on. But anyways, it would be interesting to have a robot, right? I think so. I think it'd be great. Matter of fact, I love using Grok. I love using ChatGPT. I love it. Today, I was trying to talk to Grok today. I stumped it somehow, so it did not respond. So it's not there yet. It's not all there. And that robot in that video was not really good at watering that plant. The water did spill on the ground. I don't know if you saw that, but it did. All right, guys. I think that is every trending video except for this last one. Here it is. Melania Trump. The Take It Down Act is now into law.
It's an honor to join you here today for the signing of the Take It Down Act. As First Lady, my Be Best initiative is focused on improving children's well-being, encouraging kindness, and creating a safer online environment for our youth. Over the past few months, I have met with brave survivors, deeply loving families, and caring advocates who know firsthand NCII and deepfake abuse. Today, I'm proud to say that the values of Be Best will be reflected in the law of the land, a national victory that will help parents and families protect children from online exploitation. Many thanks to members of Congress. Thank you all for coming together to prioritize people over politics. We affirm that the well-being of our children is central to our future of our families in America.
Melania Trump, huh? Smoke show, right? I would say, right? One reason why they want illegal immigrants, Chuck says. Charles says. Instead of robots, that's why the Democrats wanted illegals for slave labor. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that's what they're doing on these farms and all every other crappy job. Oh man, this world is interesting.
But
I don't know why I saved this video, but here we go.
You didn't see this.
Free Palestine is just today's version of Heil Hitler. They don't want a Palestinian state. They want to destroy the Jewish state. They want to annihilate the Jewish people who've been in the land of Israel for 3,500 years. I could never understand how this simple truth evades the leaders of France, Britain, Canada, and others.
Okay. This is one of the most insane things that I have seen yet. I've seen a lot of insane things come out of this guy's mouth, but this is one of the most insane things. So if you can't see what's happening, I just want you to think about COVID. Just think about what happened with COVID, the amount of propaganda around any kind of dissent against it, right? The ability to label things, right? That's where all of a sudden this misinformation and disinformation and domestic terrorism and extremism and all these other things that people were labeled just for questioning something that they didn't want to put in their body and a narrative that they didn't understand or didn't believe in. Okay. This is no different, guys. Just draw the comparison. To say that somebody saying free Palestine is the same thing as saying Heil Hitler is insane, right? Let's just go off of what we know of the history books. People saying Heil Hitler were saluting a man and a dictator and somebody who was murdering people, right? Who was committing genocide. Okay. All of you who are watching this, you know how this works. You look at situations where the Democrats will say exactly what they'll condemn what they themselves are doing, or they'll try to make it seem like the right is doing exactly what they are doing, right? It's projection. That's exactly what this is. This is projection. And people that can't see that, like you've got to be kidding me. You have to be completely manipulated at this point if you can't see what this man is doing. They have been pushing to have speech laws in America where people can actually face legal repercussions for saying something that is quote unquote anti-Semitic. Imagine if it gets to a point where just by saying the words free Palestine, that is considered anti-Semitic. That is considered supporting Hitler. Okay. It's insane. Meanwhile, this guy is literally the modern day Hitler. I said it. It's a fact. That is what this man is. Based on what we know with the history books, let's just go based off of that. Based on what the history books have told us, okay, and what we've been told, he's nationalist. He's a nationalist, and he believes in eugenics. Okay, he believes in a pure religion, a pure state, a nation state, and he wants any other religion and any other people to not be a part of that. Right? Him and his closest followers. Okay. And then on top of that, he is literally committing a genocide, a modern day genocide. And if you don't believe me, look at what Piers Morgan has been one of the people who have been so outspoken about that anytime that word is thrown around and saying that's not true, that's not what's really going on. Watch this.
I think we've reached common ground about what we view is happening and has been happening through this period of this blockade, which frankly is just starvation of the people there, including so many innocent young women and children. And I think that the incessant bombing and killing, and we don't know how many civilians are being killed, but it is on a daily basis. It looks like hundreds of people every day, with no apparent attempt, it seems to me, to have any real plan for how this ends or what happens when it ends, other than if you look at what Smotrich has been saying, probably the most right-wing member of a very right-wing government, he is talking in a genocidal language about kicking all the Palestinians out. So I think you and I have reached a place in the last few weeks where we are in agreement. But my question for you, Mehdi, is how does this end?
I don't know the answer to that question, Piers, and I'm glad we're in agreement. I wish we weren't. Actually, I wish I had been wrong and you were right. I wish that a year ago when I said on your show, you said, well, if it's not about the hostages, what's it about? And I said, it's about depopulating Gaza. It's about conquering Gaza. I wish I'd been wrong. But as you said, Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister in the Israeli government, said this week, we are there to conquer, cleanse, and remain. Those are his words. We are disassembling Gaza, he said. We are leaving it as piles of rubble.
But see, there's more. Watch what this guy says. He literally says that leading researchers and genocide specialists, right, including the former deputy chief of the Israeli military, watch what he says they say.
The killing is ongoing. The starvation is ongoing. And look, I do hope that a dam is bursting. You mentioned the genocide word. Shmuel Lederman, who is an Israeli researcher of genocide, spent much of 2024 saying it's not a genocide, it's not a genocide. He was interviewed by a Dutch newspaper last week. He said, I've changed my position. It is a genocide. He said, in my field, there's a consensus among genocide scholars that it's a genocide. In fact, that Dutch newspaper interviewed 7 leading scholars of genocide. Every single one said, we think what's happening in Gaza is a genocide. In fact, this week, Piers, you have an Israeli former general, Yair Golan, saying a sane country does not attack civilians, does not kill babies as a hobby, and does not expel civilian populations. That is Yair Golan, the former deputy chief of the Israeli military, prominent Israeli politician. He was a hero on October the 7th, fought Hamas himself on October the 7th. This is what he said this week.
Okay, so like...
The point is, what Netanyahu is doing, they literally control Hamas, okay? Israelis, I think they control them, all right? They had them attack themselves on October 7th, and sure enough, it was their red light or green light to take over Gaza, wipe it out, clean it out, turn it all into rubble where the people they can't even live. And that's what it looks like today. It was a genius plan. And I think a lot of this evil happens all around the world. It really does. All these false flags that we see in today's day and age, these wars and all these certain things. And, you know, it's just so sad that we have to have so much satanic evil stuff on this earth. It is. It is. Everyone's duped about this whole war in Israel. You know, you're like, it's kind of a conflict. You know, if you're a Christian, it's kind of, you get conflicted. You're like, oh, what am I doing? I mean, I don't want to get involved. I don't really care. Should I care? Should I really care? I mean, it's not affecting us. It's not affecting America. We know it's evil versus evil. I don't know how do you expose that? How do you expose it? How can you prove that Israel did it to themselves? I mean, now we're hearing that, you know, I mean, obviously we've heard years and years that 9/11 was part of Israel was part of that, or they were celebrating and they, you know, this was good for that. It's good that it happened, you know, that he was found saying, you know, it's just so much satanic stuff. And it's just gotta stop. But the more and more as my algorithm on my Instagram is starting to change, it's very bizarre what is changing. I'm getting a lot of anti-Semitic stuff. I'm getting a lot of Heil Hitler stuff. I'm getting a lot of white supremacist stuff, a lot of racist stuff. I don't know why. I don't really dive into that stuff, but for some reason it's coming into my feed. Is that making me a racist? Is that making me a white supremacist? Is that making me a Nazi? I mean, and the more and more I keep seeing this stuff, is like, I could see why someone could easily get brainwashed and start hating people. I mean, you could really hate some people watching these algorithms. You know, it could really change your mind about a lot of things. And that's the thing you got to be really cautious about with your social media. How it's controlling you, how it's making you feel. You can't let it make you feel. To us, it's just, all right, this is what's trending. This is what's going on. We just want to share the truth. Let's talk about it as we go on. But you got to know that the algorithm is trying to change your opinion, trying to change who you are. You know, and I was thinking the other day about AI and our data on our phones and our computers. And anytime you were, I don't know about that. But basically our information that we put out there our art, our music, anything we say, anything we do, problems we solved, everything, right? Our data is out there, right? Basically, what happened is China, all the big tech companies bought all this data, right? Put all this data in data farms, right? Formed AI and then shoved it back to the people. There you go. Took our hive mind, all of us, all the people around the world, put it in a data center, stole all our data, right? This is all came from me. Maybe I contributed through a painting or a picture or something, you know? Maybe I made a video a long time ago that AI is going to use a little bit of it and change it into something else. Who knows? But we all did that over 20-something years, right? Since the internet started. 25 years? How many years, Chuck? I don't know. 27 years? 28 years? It's been going out and out. Now it's in a data center. Everything keeps being filed in there. And then it comes back to us. And then we pay to use it. It's a pretty genius plan if you think about it. There's going to be good. There's going to be pros and cons with AI. The thing is to get ahead of AI. Get to know it. Get to use it. Use it to your advantage. Make as much money as possible in this day and age, because you do never want COVID to happen again, where they lock you up, where they keep you at home, where you can't work, where you are waiting on the government. Wait in line for this. Or if there's an attack on America, you can go to your private bunker. This is what we need to do, folks. That's what you got to do. Got to really focus, getting up there, and then support your family. You know what I mean? Amen. All right, folks. That wraps up today's show. I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us at WebersWay.com. And you know what? Chuck was telling me that we sold over 82 patriotic shirts. So that's pretty good today. The shirt that I'm wearing right now, fitted. Yeah, what do I got? Crumbs on it or something here? Spiritual Warfare, Patriot. Is this, how come it's on? It should be Patriot Strong, right? Huh. Got a store glitch there. Jose, is that your fault? Should be Patriot Strong, but it's got the Spiritual Warfare logo. Anyways, I like it. Get your Patriot shirts in their store, WebersWay.com, and also the Alpha shirts. Alpha shirts are huge right now for some reason. Big time. Support us there, guys. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting us at WebersWay.com/shop. Use the promo code GodWins, and we still have free shipping. Here we go, guys. Let's pray. Who are we praying for, Chuck? You got someone? Good. Let's get her up. Oh, okay. All right, guys. Got to always pray for your enemies and the people that most likely need the help more than you. Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray to you tonight. We pray for this young gentleman that had multiple surgeries to try to look like a female, but it's still not working. As he goes into restaurants and gets called a man like he is, and gets very offended because he wants to be called a she, this mental illness needs to stop, Lord. So we ask you to confront this person. Show them who you are. Show them and fix their mental capacity of what they're thinking to back to normal, to be a regular person. And have them start making videos about reversing and talking about how they were coerced and groomed as a child to become like this, Lord. We ask you to reach to this gentleman to really bring back to what he really is when he was born. Lord, we ask you to do this today, tonight, and forever. We thank you, Lord. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right? You got to pray for your enemies, folks. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. And remember, Jesus is coming.
Word is my sword, cutting through the night. In the name of the truth, I'll rise up today. Temptation calls my name, tries to pull me low. I've got a promise that won't let me go. The word is my sword, cutting through the night. Guided by the Spirit, I'm ready to fight. Demons tremble when I call. call his name. Every chain will break, no fear remains. Heaven's on my side, the victory's won. Through the cross, the battle's overcome. Oh, spiritual warfare, fight for my heart. Light against the darkness, tearing lies apart. With faith as my fire, I'll stand and I'll cry. In the name of the truth, I'll rise up today. In this spiritual war, I'll never back down. If grace is my guide, I'll wear the crown.